a war that changed everything. In the early hours of September the 1st, 1939, the sound of explosions echoed across Poland. German tanks rolled forward, aircraft filled the skies, and within hours, Europe was once again at war. What followed was World War II, the deadliest and most destructive conflict humanity has ever witnessed. Over 70 million people died. Entire cities were reduced to ashes, and the world's political map was permanently transformed. This war was not just about territory. It was about power, ideology, revenge, survival, and domination. To understand World War II, we must first go back to the war that came before it. Part 1. Roots of World War II, 1918-1939. The aftermath of World War I. World War I ended in 1918, but peace did not bring stability. Germany was blamed for the war and punished severely by the Treaty of Versailles in 1919. Under this treaty, Germany lost territory. Its military was limited. It had to pay massive war reparations. Its economy was crushed. Its people were humiliated. This created anger, poverty, and resentment among Germans. At the same time, Europe was unstable. Empires collapsed. New nations were weak. Borders were disputed. Economic problems spread. The Great Depression. In 1929, the Great Depression hit the world. Factories closed. Banks collapsed. Millions lost their jobs. People lost faith in democracy and turned to extreme leaders who promised strength, order, and national pride. This opened the door to dictatorships. Part 2. Rise of the Axis powers. Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany. In Germany, a man named Adolf Hitler rose to power. Hitler was a powerful speaker who promised to restore German pride, to rebuild the military, to destroy the Treaty of Versailles, to create a racially pure German empire. In 1933, Hitler became chancellor and soon after, dictator. He created the Nazi Party, controlled the media, crushed opposition, and used fear and propaganda to rule. Hitler believed Germans were the master race. Jews were enemies. War was necessary for expansion. Fascist Italy. In Italy, Benito Mussolini had already taken power. He created a fascist state, glorifying war, nationalism, and dictatorship. Mussolini wanted to rebuild the Roman Empire and expand Italy's territory. Imperial Japan. In Asia, Japan was expanding aggressively. Japan needed oil, steel, resources. It invaded Manchuria in 1931 and later attacked China in 1937. Japanese military leaders believed in absolute loyalty, military dominance, expansion through force. Together, Germany, Italy, and Japan formed the Axis powers. Part 3. Failure of peace and the road to war. Appeasement policy. Britain and France wanted to avoid another war at any cost. They followed a policy called appeasement, giving Hitler what he wanted in hopes he would stop. Germany rebuilt its army, illegal. Germany occupied the Rhineland. Germany annexed Austria in 1938. Germany took parts of Czechoslovakia. Each time, the Allies did nothing. Hitler became bolder. The final trigger, Poland. In August 1939, Germany signed a non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union. Then, on September 1st, 1939, Germany invaded Poland using a new strategy called Blitzkrieg, lightning war. Fast tanks, constant air attacks, rapid movement. Poland fell quickly. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war on Germany. World War II had begun. Part 4. The War in Europe, 1939-1941. Blitzkrieg across Europe. Germany moved rapidly. Denmark and Norway fell. Belgium and the Netherlands were defeated. France collapsed in just 6 weeks. Paris was occupied. France surrendered in June 1940. Battle of Britain. Only Britain remained. Hitler launched massive air attacks on British cities. This was the Battle of Britain. British pilots, known as the RAF, defended the skies. Despite heavy bombing, Britain refused to surrender. This was Hitler's first major failure. Part 5. Operation Barbarossa and Eastern Front. Invasion of the Soviet Union. In June 1941, Hitler made a fatal decision. He invaded the Soviet Union. This operation was called Operation Barbarossa. Initially, German forces advanced rapidly. But the distances were huge. Supplies ran out. Winter arrived. Soviet resistance increased. Battle of Stalingrad. The turning point came at Stalingrad, 1942-1943. This battle was brutal. Street-by-street fighting. Extreme cold. Massive casualties. The German army was completely surrounded and defeated. This was the first major German defeat and a turning point in the war. Part 6, The Holocaust, Genocide, Nazi Ideology of Hate. While the war raged, the Nazis carried out one of the darkest crimes in history, the Holocaust. Hitler believed Jews, Roma, disabled people, and others were undesirable. Concentration and death camps. Millions were forced into ghettos, deported to camps, starved, executed, gassed in death camps like Auschwitz. Over 6 million Jews were murdered. The Holocaust remains one of humanity's greatest tragedies. Part 7, The War in the Pacific. Pearl Harbor, USA enters the war. On December 7, 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, a US naval base in Hawaii. The attack was sudden and devastating. The next day, the United States declared war. World War II became truly global. Island-hopping strategy. The US fought Japan across the Pacific, Guadalcanal, Iwo Jima, Okinawa. Each battle was brutal. Japanese forces fought fiercely, often refusing to surrender. Part 8, Turning the Tide, 1943-1944. Allied advance. The Allies began pushing back. Soviet forces advanced from the east. British and Americans moved from the west. D-Day, Normandy invasion. On June 6, 1944, the Allies launched D-Day. Thousands of troops landed on the beaches of Normandy, France. It was one of the largest military operations in history. Despite heavy losses, the invasion succeeded. Western Europe began to be liberated. Part 9, Fall of Nazi Germany. Hitler's final days. By 1945, Germany was collapsing. Berlin was surrounded. Allied bombs destroyed cities. On April 30th, 1945, Adolf Hitler committed suicide. Germany surrendered on May 7, 1945. Victory in Europe was declared. Part 10, Atomic Bombs and Japan's Surrender. The Atomic Decision. The war in the Pacific continued. To avoid a full invasion, the US used a new weapon. On August 6, 1945, Hiroshima. August 9th, 1945, Nagasaki. Atomic bombs destroyed both cities. Hundreds of thousands died. Japan surrenders. On August 15, 1945, Japan surrendered. World War II was officially over.